So a little while ago, I did my top 10 favorite Simpsons episodes, and I did say, I wanted to keep the Treehouse of Horror episodes separate and make a whole list behind them. So here we are now. These are my top 10 Treehouse of Horror episodes. And it's funny because, these things can be ranked in their own right as well. So, I think the Treehouse of Horror, no matter what season it is, for the most part, and I do stress for the most part, I think no matter how dull some Simpsons seasons get, I really do feel like their best work goes into Treehouse of Horror. Like, I feel like those, no matter what, at least those episodes, a lot of those episodes, and there are some duds in Treehouse of Horror, but I will say that, like, for the most part, there's usually one or two segments that are solid. Like, what was it? The last one I saw, there are some good ones, like in the later ones, like the Clockwork Orange parody, the Death Note one segment, that's really cool. The one where they parody Westworld, those are some good ones. But here we are with my top 10, and as always, if you think a episode should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine. I got no problem with you. It's this is just my personal opinion, and I think that I'm always down for to see what your lists are and why. So without further ado, let's dive into it at number 10. Number 10, Treehouse 14. Treehouse 14. I think the reason why this episode is I like it so much is because of the first segment. I will say the other two segment, like the Frank episode segment, is all right, but the death episode where Homer becomes the Grim Reaper, I think all the best jokes are in that, and I think Treehouse 14 is basically carried by that first segment, where Homer's the Grim Reaper, because there's so many good jokes there, and subtle jokes, like when he goes to reap Jasper, and Jasper's like, "Where's Doug? Doug's gone. I'm the new guy. Ugh, I like Doug better." Yeah. So, yeah. I think, again, I really do think that, and I'm looking at my phone, sorry, because I knew I'd forget the list. Yeah. But I think the Frank and Frink episode, I think, does have some good jokes. The third segment is kind of forgettable. But again, I have to stress that I think the reason why I like this episode so much is is the first segment where Homer is the Grim Reaper, and I really do like it. So let's go on to the next one at number 9, Treehouse of Horror 12. This one's underrated. I think Treehouse of Horror 12 is a criminally underrated segment because it has some of the, it was my first one as a kid seeing when it premiered. This was the first, the other ones I had to go back and watch, but this was the first one I watched in premiere. The the Smart House episode segment with Pierce Brosnan as the computer voice. There's some great jokes there. I love the part where Homer's I think he's destroying the machine, and he's just hacking away. And Lisa goes, "Dad, that's the water cooler. That's the water heater. Well, I am missing the back of my head. You can cut me some slack." So there's also I really like the Gypsy Curse segment. I think there's also some great ones where Homer has to get. It's so wild. It's so with the jokes with the leprechaun. And the Harry Potter segment, it is the weakest. The Harry Potter segment is the weakest, but the vomiting frog saves it for me. I think it also kind of, that third segment does kind of, dud out at the end, but I think, there are some great jokes in there still, with the Abomination Prince, "Every moment I live is agony." Yeah. So that one, I think, it's underrated, but I think there are some great jokes, especially with the Smart House segment. There's also some great physical comedy in all three of them. And I'm always, as someone who was raised on the Three Stooges, physical comedy will always make me laugh. Anyway, let's move on now to number 8. And number 8 is Treehouse 1. I know, it's so low on the list, but it was really hard to put this, but I really like Treehouse 1. The first Treehouse of Horror is a really good segment. And I do think There are some solid jokes here and there, but I think what really carries it for me is the Raven sequence. I think the final segment involving The Simpsons retelling The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe is one of the best things The Simpsons have ever done. And also, I'm just going to say it, James Earl Jones, who was the guest star in this segment, in this episode, he does the best reading of the Raven. He does by far the best reading I've ever heard. And not to say anything less of like Christopher Lee and Vincent Price and other great horror actors who have done it, but I think there's a level of menace to James Earl Jones's segment. I think there's just this level of absolute menace that you don't see with most of them, and he also does some great inflection with it too. But the Raven is like, it's not. It is. There are some like jokes here and there, but like, yeah. Also, my mom, who is a teacher, uses this episode segment as part of her teachings whenever they get to Edgar Allan Poe. Because I feel like, yeah, you can show this to kids and no one's going to care because everyone knows who the Simpsons are. But yeah. The other two parts are really good. I like the haunted house one. Hungry Are the Damned, the first appearance of Kang and Kodos. It's really good too. But again, I feel like what really is the selling point is the Raven. I think it really is. So now we come to number 7, Treehouse of Horror 10. This one is just gas. I know this isn't like the later ones, like when we get to the double digits are kind of forgettable, except for one, which is really high on the list. We'll get to that one later. But Treehouse of Horror 10 has Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl, which is completely dumb, but I love it. I also like, I'm so, like, I also love the I Know What You Did Last Summer segment where they think they killed Ned Flanders, and it has the most insane twist at the end, which I love. There's also like when Homer when Homer causes mutants to appear. That's also a lot of fun. I think it's a really good episode. Is it a little forgettable? Yeah, but I think there are some smarter jokes here. Next up, Treehouse of Horror 9. Treehouse of Horror 9 is an absolute blast of an episode. I think it's another one that's underrated. Of course, you have the Who's the Baby's Daddy with Kang and Kodos, with Maggie being the son of the daughter of Kang, excuse me. And also, I love Hell to Pay, where Homer gets Snake's hair and it's like controlling him. It's a parody of Idle Hands. I thought there were some great jokes there and some great physical comedy too. The Itchy and Scratchy segment is also a lot of fun. I love how they were playing. There's clearly a lot of love for like classic Looney Tunes put into that middle segment. Yeah. So I really adore that episode. I honest to God adore that one. It's another one where it's like you go back and remember the jokes. So at number 5, we have Treehouse 4. This is the last one that did like intermingling segments. Like they were parodying Night Gallery with it by Rod Serling. This is a lot of fun because, again, this is the episode with the Devil and Homer Simpson, arguably one of the best segments of the Treehouse era. I adore that whole thing of like forbidden donut. There's also just other great jokes, and also having Flanders as the devil is a stroke of genius. The Gremlin episode, which is a parody of Terror at 30,000 Feet, is really a good one, and also is surprisingly gory at the end. And the last one with Bart Simpson's vampires, that's also a great one too. Dad, Dad, did you see what I see? Yeah, his wig makes him look like a queer. I heard that. It was the boy. I also like I find it hilarious that I wish they would come back to. Honestly, I'm going to go into a little tangent here, and I'm sorry I'm tripping over my words so much, but like I personally would absolutely love to have the intercession parts or the interval parts that kind of introduce each episode. I really wish they would do that again. I know they do it. They don't do it anymore because it gave them more time to do the episodes, the segments on a whole. I mean, so I get it, but like I feel like the best work came when they didn't have to be constrained by time. That way, they could really fit in all the best jokes in there. So I wish they would go back to that in later Treehouse of Horror episodes. But yeah. Next up, at number 4, we have Treehouse 6. Treehouse 6 doesn't get talked about enough. I really love the attack of the roadside attractions. I know that's not the name of the episode, but I love it. This also is the introduction of Lard Lad. And whenever I'm in Universal Studios, just to go on a side tangent, whenever I look at the Lard Lad statue there, all I can think is, I wanted a colossal donut, and I'm gonna get a colossal donut. And also, like, Homer, where'd you get that massive donut? Well, I required it legally. You can be sure of that. I also love the Nightmare on Elm Street segment. Great one. Do not touch Willie. Good advice. And this is the Homer 3D episode. This is also the segment that had Homer and Bart become 3D figures. Did anyone see the movie Tron? No. Yes. I mean, no. I think this one, because the next one we're going to talk about overshadows it, but I feel like this one has some solid ones. It has some serious recognition too. And this was the one that, the second one that had the no intro parts to it. I don't know what else to call them, but yeah. Anyway, but Treehouse of Horror 6, that one doesn't get talked about enough. I feel like everyone thinks that this one is the even number ones are bad. I think some of them have their best work in the even numbers, but it's funny because the last 3 are all odd numbers. But anyway, and third place, we have Treehouse of Horror 5. Yes, this is the episode with the shinning, time and punishment, and I forget the other one where it was called, where the kids are being eaten by the teachers. All the running gag of Willie getting an axe to the back is great every time. Don't worry, kids, Willie will save you. Ugh. Oh, I'm bad at this. Also, I didn't realize it. The joke, it was so subtle in the shinning part where Willie gets killed by Homer, and Marge says, "Oh dear, I hope that carpet is Scotch guarded." And it took me forever to be like, "Oh, I get it." See, it's jokes like that makes you remember. Oh yeah, Simpsons are really fucking good at these kind of jokes. I also really like. Of course, you can't talk about this episode without going, all I need's a title. I was thinking no TV and no beer make Homer something something. Go crazy? Don't mind if I do! But this is one of the pinnacle ones, and I would not blame anyone who said this was their favorite. But there were 2 more that really kind of beat it out for second and first place, but it was I had to have this episode on here, and it was going to be in at least the top 5. And because I rewatched the episodes again before I did this, and it reminded me of how good this series was. Anyway, Treehouse at number 2 we have Treehouse of Horror 13. This one is awesome. This one I don't think people don't talk about it enough. There are some great jokes with the Island of Lost Souls parody. I also really love I still say it to this day whenever it comes up, whenever the joke comes up, but where the second sequence where the cowboy, Billy the Kid and a bunch of other undead cowboys take over Springfield after they get rid of guns. There's one where Kaiser Wilhelm shows up and they're like, I don't know, are you a cowboy? Yes, I am cowboy. Yippee weepee. It works for me. I don't know. That comes up every time, every so often in conversation. There's also, of course, Send in the Clones, which I think is one of the best Homer-centric of the Treehouse of Horror ones. There's some great jokes in there, like, "Ugh, we're too evenly matched. Me concur." And of course, where he drives the clones out in the middle of nowhere and is like, "Okay, who knows? Before I leave you off stranded in the middle of nowhere, who knows the way back?" "I do." Boom. "Okay, who else?" Blam. "Anyone else? Come on." Blam. I don't think this episode gets talked about enough. I think the best one for me is the Island of Lost Souls segment, where Dr. Hibbert is turning everyone in Springfield into animals, and Homer at the end is like, "Listen to yourselves. What kind of lives do you live? All you do is eat and mate and roll around in your own filth and eat and sleep at..." Where do I sign up? Yeah. I don't think that one gets talked about enough, but I think it's solid. So, what is my number one favorite Treehouse of Horror episode? That, without a doubt, the moment I was doing this list, I knew what it's not usual that, like, I know what my number one is when really sitting down and thinking about it. But for this, without a doubt, this is my number one favorite. And I think I think everyone's going to go like, "Really? It's that one? That's so contrived." Shut up, first off. It's my list, my rules. And yeah, secondly, I think it is the pinnacle of Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episodes. And that episode in question is Treehouse of Horror 3. This is the peak. This is the peak one. This one has the best jokes, the best physical comedy, the best violence, and it just encapsulates everything I love about the Treehouse of Horror segments on a whole. I think it has when you talk about like Treehouse of Horror, this is what they're talking about. Treehouse of Horror 3 is by far, I think, the best of the Treehouse of Horror series. The killer Krusty doll has arguably one of the greatest jokes in Simpsons history ever. "Here, take this doll, but beware, it carries a terrible curse." "Ooh, that's bad. But you get a free thing of Frogurt." "That's good. The Frogurt is also cursed." "Ooh, that's bad. But you get your free choice of toppings." "That's good. The toppings contain potassium benzoate." "That's bad. Can I go now?" And of course, "Dad, you shot the zombie Flanders." "He was a zombie?" And I really love the King Homer segment where they just parody the 1933 King Kong movie. Like, they do black and white. And a joke that I really love that no one talks about is where they're like, "Oh, I heard we're going to Ape Island. What do they got there? I heard they got a giant ape. Aw, I wish we were going to Candy Apple Island." "Candy Apple Island? What do they got there?" "Apes. But they're not so big." Yeah. So there you go, guys. Those are my top 10 favorite Treehouse of Horror episodes. You guys tell me in the comments below, what are your top 10 Treehouse of Horror episodes? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.